to the Splash Alive, a show all about the people and places that make up the greater West Bloomfield community. I'm Ronnie. Thanks for sharing your morning with us. Well, from the classroom to City Hall, Jacob Small is getting a valuable education in the election process as an intern for the West Bloomfield Township Clerk's office. Jacob joins us now. Good morning, Jacob. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you?
You know, I have to ask you, what made you want to do an internship at the clerk's office?
I've always been interested in governance and local government especially, and it really was just an offer I couldn't refuse.
So what's this experience been like for you?
Well, I've learned a lot about what local government actually takes care of, like especially around personal business and elections especially in the clerk's office.
So with that, can I ask, what's been the biggest surprise?
I think the biggest surprise is just how much they affect our daily lives. We talk so much about the federal government and state level governments, especially in relationship to how they affect us, but the local government can mean just as much.
It's so true, and I think we saw that during COVID. So, yeah. And West Bloomfield typically has a pretty good turnout when it comes to elections. So for you, are you 18 yet?
Yes, I am.
So this will be your first election?
Yep.
What has this taught you about the power of your vote?
I've realized that no matter where you are, like the partisan balance of where you live, your vote matters because your voice is being heard. You can't like actively say, oh, I'm not feeling listened to. If you're not casting your vote and you're not going out and you're trying to affect how your daily life is being affected by your government.
So we've all had to take, the government classes. What have you learned, though, that wasn't in a textbook?
So instead of civics, I took AP Gov when I was in high school, but that mainly focused on federal government. I never really learned about what the state level or even local level had to do with anything. So I've learned a lot about how that really is the major thing that affects you. You pay township level taxes. The school district is associated with the township. You have all of these things that are so close to you and that you just don't realize are affected at such a local level.
Yeah, Jacob, have you started work yet?
Yes, I have. 2 weeks ago, actually.
So you've actually turned this internship into a job. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
When you get that first paycheck, though, and you see those taxes, you're like, yeah, this is why I'm going to vote, right?
Yes, exactly.
I'm always like, if I didn't have to pay all these taxes, I'd be okay.
You think you're making this much, but you're really not.
Right.
Really not.
Hey, so what do your friends think about this internship?
Well, most people I talk to think it's such a cool opportunity. They're really excited about it because it seems like something that's so unattainable, but really, if you just reach out and you ask questions and you go to these organizations, there's a chance that they'll have an open spot for you and that they can take you on and educate you.
And what's great about this, we know so many internships were put on hold during COVID, and so this is really a great opportunity for you. What are your future plans? What do you want to do?
So in the fall, I'm going to James Madison College at Michigan State. And from there, I want to either go into campaign management or elected office myself.
Oh my goodness, you are dreaming big, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So can I ask you, what, after doing this internship and now going to work for the clerk's office, what do you think about the politics that are going on, right here in our state? Look at what's happening with the governor's race.
Well, I think it's really interesting. I've always paid a lot of attention to that because I find elections and the lead up to them very, very, very interesting. But I think especially with the state level stuff in the governor's race, I think a lot of people might not completely understand what's happening. And they might be like, oh, this is an attack from the left or the right. These people are being left out for reasons that might be partisan. But when you look at it, it really is about like the procedures, and you have to go through those procedures correctly. And if you can't follow the procedures that they line up for you, it so happens that you can be left out of things.
Right? I know. I'm with you. I'm like, how did they make this mistake? But are you kind of bugging all of your friends now to get registered to vote?
Trust me, everybody I know who is 17 and a half or older, I have been begging them to come in and see me at the clerk's office.
And what are they saying? Your generation. I always like to get your viewpoint on politics, because I feel like when we were growing up, it wasn't nearly as divisive as it is today.
The main divide I see is between people who are like in the know and actively paying attention to things, and people who have really no idea what things are, what's going on. So I think like it's important that we reach out and we try to educate the youth a little more on at least the foundations of democracy, at least at a state level.
So I think, you know, like, okay, I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but American Idol was so popular and they had so many millions of people voting. And it's like, but we can't get people to the polls, you know? So it's like, this vote really matters. So with your generation, how much does social media play into the election for you and your friends?
I think a lot of times social media gets a bad rap, especially in relation to politics. But I think especially for those who are active on social media, it helps to educate them on what's going on and what elections are happening. And it can kind of show them what's going on around them.
So are you planning to get a law degree then if you're getting into, what is it, James Madison at U of M? I mean, Michigan State?
I actually don't really have any interest in law personally. So if I'm going to go for higher education, I think I'll go for either a master's in political science or something in that realm.
That is so cool. Hey, what's it like working in government, though? Do you feel like you peeled back the veil of secrecy and now you're on the inside?
I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, but nothing we're dealing with, at least at the local level, is something that, at least from my perspective, was ever shrouded in secrecy. I can see how some people would feel that disconnect, though, for sure.
So are you going to work the upcoming primary?
So I'm not going to be working in precinct, I don't think. I will be working in the clerk's office, kind of maintaining the role I'm in right now, but I will be there.
How many days a week do you work?
Right now it's 4 or 5.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You're busy. And as I just get nosy about your whole life here, Jacob. So any of your other friends, after you've had this experience, have any of the other friends that you know become interested more in politics because of your conversations?
Definitely. I think that surely the amount I talk about politics and elections, they have to at least listen to some of it. I think that I have gotten through to some of them about at least the importance of it. I don't know about how much more.
But what made you so interested in politics? Are your parents engaged?
My parents are civically engaged, but they're not active in talking about it really to a great degree. I think what really created my interest was the 2012 presidential election. I remember being really little and watching it on TV and watching the states go blue or red or wherever they went. I just remember it was so fascinating that everybody at once was choosing who was going to run the country.
It is a game to sit back and watch, and the conversations as well behind the scenes, what's going on and how they pick a candidate to run for one position versus the other position. There's a lot of backdoor deals that can happen when we're talking about politics. So we wish you the best of luck. We're going to have to come up and see you. And by the way, do you get to handle doing the pictures for passports?
I do not handle that part.
Hey, that's important. You need to get someone who's good who will let you take a good one.
I'll talk to my coworkers about it.
Jacob, anything else you want people to know?
Call your local townships. Call everybody around you. Make sure that they know what's going on. Make sure you know what's going on. There's a primary election in August, a general election in November. These are important elections that affect your lives. Governor, state level, everything. These are the races that really affect you. So go out, get involved.
Yep. You know, school board, we saw that during COVID. So when people go in to vote, this is going to be your first election. You know, I'm going to kind of out myself here because I've been guilty of this back in the day of saying, oh, that's a female. Oh, that's an incumbent. You know, but with today's, you know, social media and the internet, you can really do your research. Yes. Prior to voting for the people. Have you started to look into campaign finance reports yet?
I have not looked at that, but I can tell you what I have been looking at. There's a great service called Ballotpedia, and they run a candidate form. And candidates can fill it out and share their interests, who they are, and what they stand for. And it's really easy laid out. And I highly suggest anybody who's interested in finding out what the candidates around them are about, what they're looking for, what they're looking to do, taking a look at Ballotpedia.
Absolutely. That's a great resource. And for the candidates that don't take the time to participate, it makes you wonder why.
Yes, it does. And it can tell you a lot about where their priorities are, especially when it comes to you and letting you know who they are.
Well, Jacob, I'm just going to put this out to you. When I can't sleep at night, it's one of the little things I love to do is go through the campaign finance reports, especially on the local level and with some of the judges as well. So I'm just going to put that out to you for your next rabbit hole.
I'll take a look.
Jacob, it was fun talking to you.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Good luck in your new job.
Thank you.
So cool to have our next generation get involved in politics because we need the community to be engaged. Hey, a quick reminder, each week we like to highlight someone from the greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. Show your gratitude to them. Tell us about them. We made it easy. You can scan the QR code right there from your phone and fill out the Google form with the person's contact info and why you think they should be recognized. It could be a person, a business, or an organization. You can also find the form by going to civiccentertv.com. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Let's savor these moments. Made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
You know, it's peaceful, it's quiet, and the noise and stress of life can sometimes disappear.
It's the Great Lakes water, and so what people do ends up in our waterways.
It's for our health and safety, it's for our economy, it's for protecting the environment that we all enjoy and we all need to survive.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
We're all about one water in this region. We're all connected. We all have a role.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Happening around town, today is the day to do something for yourself, for your health, and for your wellness. And the best thing, it is absolutely free. I'm talking about the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce Health and Wellness event. We've been talking about it. It's happening today, June 8th, from 11 until 2 over at the West Bloomfield Township Hall. You can meet the health experts to learn what you can do to live a healthier life. And again, it is free to the public to attend. Have you always wanted to tackle fishing? Get it? Haha, tackle. Go ahead, Calvin, laugh. This next event is for you. Twice a year, the Michigan DNR waives all fishing license fees in the West Bloomfield Parks. It's taking advantage by offering a fishing outing. It's taking place Saturday, June 12th at the Marsh Bank Park Fishing Pier. It's for ages 3 and up. And if you have never been fishing before, no problem. Staff members are going to be there to help. I would want them to put the worm on the hook for me. They will also have some fishing poles for people to use just in case you don't have your own. Some good news to report to you. Remember back the Memorial Day fundraiser that was taking place at Indo? Well, it was a big success. The one-of-a-kind Indonesian restaurant on Cass Lake Road not only raised enough money to feed area veterans on Memorial Day, they also raised over $3,000 for Foxhole, which is a local nonprofit that provides martial arts for our veterans. Good job to the community. Thank you for always showing up. You're watching The Splash Live, a show dedicated to all things West Bloomfield, Kiko Harbor, Silver Lake, and Orchard Lake. You can catch the show live Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. until 10, and on demand at civiccentertv.com.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back. I'm Ronnie Dahl. Were you like me today? You got up, you downed a couple cups of coffee, looked at the calendar and realized, it's still 2 days until Friday. Well, to help us snap out of our hump day blues, motivational mindset speaker and author Stacie Rene joins us with some Wednesday wisdom. Hello, friend. It's always fun talking to you.
Hello, and hello, everybody. Hopefully we're going to have a great conversation today. I'm really excited.
I saw, I think, a meme where it was like, oh, it's like Friday Eve, you know, right? Because for so many of us, we get to this day and our spirits just take a dive. How do we get over the hump, Stacie?
Well, it's all in your mind. You know, if you sit there and every Wednesday, you're like, oh, it's Wednesday, you know, I've got to think about how I'm going to get through this day. Well, change it. Say, you know what, it's Wednesday. I can definitely get through this day. You know, and then after Wednesday, there's 2 more days left in the work week, and I'm going to rock my day. I'm going to make this the best day ever, and just take a different approach to your Wednesday, and it'll make your day a whole lot better.
I always enjoy talking to you. It's been a while because you are like just an energy machine. You lift up the energy of everyone around you. How do we get to be more like Stacie?
The first thing is, think about how you react to things and the way that we program our heads. We've all gone through ups and downs. That is part of life. And the first time that you realize that you're like, you know what? The situation that I'm in, whether it's, you know, if it's generally it's a rough spot that we're all like, oh my gosh, I can't get through this anymore. This is going to be the toughest day ever. Or I can't believe I'm in this situation in my life. You have to remember it's temporary. Life is full of temporary, painful situations, but the best part about this pain that you're going in is you're going to learn a lot from it. And if it's something like a work situation, then guess what? You're going to remember that situation that you were just in, and you're going to handle it differently should it arise or should a similar situation come above or around you. You're going to handle it different because you've been through it before. And, you know, and that's what it's all about, life. And this journey that we go through, you know, starting with school, you know, elementary through middle, through high school, those are really important times of our lives. because we learn how to deal with friends. When you learn how to deal with friends, guess what? You're going to have bosses that are in similar situations as some of your crazy friends, or your friends who are bossy, or your friends who, you know, are mean or talk about you. You're going to have all those types of situations when you get older. So I think that we have to learn how to deal with those things at an early age, because it does go with us, and life is full of learning. Because it would be really boring if everything was sunshine and roses, butterflies and beautiful flowers. I mean, what would that be like?
Right? We would start to take those days for granted because we experience them all the time. You know, I like what you said, because I do feel like for so many parents today, they want to be friends with their kids, and they don't want them to go through the hardships that maybe they went through. But I feel like those hardships and those difficult times are when we grow the most.
We do. And listen, we all want better for our kids, and us giving everything to them. And we've been guilty of it ourselves, my husband and I. But I also think it's really important that you make them work for it. They have to do their chores. How are they going to learn how to do things? How are they going to learn how to do the chores around the house? I mean, it's all part of growing up and learning. And if you get everything handed to you, if you're in a certain situation where you're on your own, you're in an apartment, you're at college, you know, I've heard horror stories where there's kids who are at college and they didn't know how to turn on the shower. They didn't know the left or the right. And I was like, wait, what? They didn't know how to do their laundry. They didn't know how to change their sheets. There's a lot of things. And I've actually had some counselors from the schools, I won't mention any colleges, but come up and have me work with some students because they didn't know how to live life outside of mom and dad's home. And that is something that we need to be aware of. And as adults as well, we need to teach our children as well as ourselves how to always do something. When you become complacent in life, and this is so important, when you become complacent and you're happy, that is an awesome place to be. But you always have to challenge yourself, because if you don't, then your mind kind of starts to go blank, and you become in this nonchalant spot, and then that's when depression starts to come in to your life, and nobody wants to be depressed. So kind of jump on it. And listen, again, we are all going to go through several things of life, and I know we've been kind of jumping all over, but man, this is a good conversation that everybody needs to hear today.
Right?
Really?
And you know, I think what you just said is so important for adults, because we get into these routines, especially if you're a parent and you're running kids to this event and that event, and you know, we forget to stop living and growing and learning new things. You know, my husband he does not like change, but I was even surprised this past week he got us tickets to the Bees and the D, where you were a beekeeper for a day. You know, it's just something new, and you need to experience new things and push yourself. But I almost think adults are worse than kids in that area once we get into these routines.
Do you know why that is? I'm going to tell you, because it's really interesting. 90% of what you think yesterday carries over to the next day.
Oh.
So if you think about that, the same thoughts are repetitive. And just like your husband not liking change, he's not alone. There are so many people out there that don't like change, that they're very regimented. They have to do, which is really great to a point, because you do need that routine. However, when you get out of that routine, just like when people are like, I want to lose weight. I mean, that's the number one thing, right? We always want to look good for ourselves, or we want to change our eating habits. We become different because we are changing the pattern in our own brain. And when you start doing something without thinking about it, then that becomes part of your new life. So people who want to quit smoking, they want to quit drinking, they want to start eating healthier, then that is a change of lifestyle. And your brain is like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not having this. This is out of my comfort zone. This is not what I like. This is not what I'm used to. I'm going to change it. And you get this little chirping in your head. And then when you start to revert, they're like, oh yeah, here's the comfy spot. This is what I like. But you're not changing anything. So habits are really hard to break, because your body, just like you driving to work every day, you taking the kids to school, you wonder how you got from A to B because you're used to that cycle. You're used to that routine. If you take a different way, most people, or there's detours or construction, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And there's an uproar and more accidents happen. And I know that we've all seen this, but that's because we are going out of our normal routine. And yes, it's uncomfortable. So when I work with clients, I say anywhere between 4 and 6 months because it does take time. You did not get where you are now within a day or two, a month. It takes time to retrain and get yourself into a new cycle. So if you're on this new path, you're doing great, 6 months in, and you all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm just gonna have this whole cake and I'm gonna eat it. Your body's like, whoa, this is triggering something that I remember. I like it. And you're like, oh, you know what? I'll just have another piece tomorrow. I've got the size that I want to be. I'm all good. You have another piece tomorrow. Oh, you know what? I'm still looking good. The next day comes. You have another piece. What are you doing? You are reverting back to your old habits. And that is a very familiar stone thought that's in your head. And you're going to be back right to where you were. So you have to remember.
I do think that one cupcake put 20 pounds on me, though. I look at a cupcake and I gain weight. Hey, just about a minute left with you. I always like, what's your little saying for us to trigger our mind? So when we're going down that path.
So a couple things. When you start to have the negative thought, you wake up, you're feeling good. I'm gonna have a great day today. And all of a sudden somebody cuts you off. The boss calls you in and has a conversation that's uncomfortable for you. And you start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm insecure. This is not what I thought. Cancel, clear, delete. CCD. Cancel, clear, delete. Cancel the thought, clear it out, and delete it. You know what? Move on. Don't sit there and fester over that thought. Be like, you know what? Appreciate what he said to you. Appreciate whatever just happened, and be like, you know what? That's okay. I'm gonna continue to have my positive day because it does change and it will make a thing. And if you can't get out of that mindset of saying cancel, clear, delete 3 times, say, I am an ass. I'm an awesome ass, awesome, successful, and smart. I succeed at what I put my mind to. Say that 3 times, and all of a sudden, when you change your thought, change your thinking, you're gonna feel better. So that is so important to say, and I love saying the ass because you can always remember that. Awesome, successful, and smart. I succeed at what I put my mind to. Cancel, clear, delete your negative thoughts out because your thoughts are what you believe, and thoughts become things.
Well, that's such good advice because we've all had those days where you wake up and everything just seems to go wrong right away. It's like, stop, reset yourself, and keep going. Change the mindset.
Absolutely, and it does make a huge difference. And why not? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And when my favorite thing is, I believe I receive. Because when you believe, you do receive.
Miss Stacie Rene, thank you so much. We always appreciate having you on for our Wednesday Wisdom. You're so wise, our friend.
Thank you so much.
That's going to do it for today's edition of The Splash Live. I want to say thank you to our guests for taking time to be with us, and to you, our friends in Sylvan Lake, Kiko Harbor, Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, for tuning in. And in case you didn't know, you can also catch The Splash Live on My Michigan TV, a new streaming service dedicated to telling stories about the people and places across the Mitten State. Have a great Wednesday.